I'm going to try something different and just hold it so I can walk around. Cool, thanks for that, Ryan. I think between Rosie and I, we could probably start a bikie game with some of our stories. So this story takes place on February 18th, around 4 years ago, 2011. At that stage in my life, I was studying journalism and I was just working part-time at a bottle shop to supplement, I suppose, drinking and not a hell of a lot else, as most uni students will tell you, a little bit of study at the time as well. So it was a Friday, and the night before I had gone out with a few mates to a lumber lounge, had a few too many drinks and kind of rolled in at 3 a.m. in the morning. As I did most weeks, I had to work at 5:30, 6 a.m. just unpacking kind of pallets at the bottle shop. I was the only one there to do it because it was a pretty small bottle shop. So anyway, I woke up at 5:30 and I rocked into the bottle shop, and later on that evening, which was kind of the highlight for my month as a student, was I was going to go to a De La Soul's Dead gig with my older brother for my birthday that he'd bought the previous year. So I was really amped for that. So I went into work on little to no sleep and thought, it was a bit of a stretch to probably make it out that night as well. So I went in there, I put all the stuff in, packed it all away. I played it pretty well those days. Like if I put it away by 8 o'clock, I managed to sleep for the next 2 hours in the storeroom. And so no one else was really aware of this. Like I was still getting paid, but I managed to set myself up with a sweet little cubby house of tarpaulin and cask wine. So like almost like, the Turkish kind of cushions at the background, like I just lounged back and I'd take the store phone and set my alarm for 10 o'clock, but I'd take the store phone because I thought if I lock the door, no one else can get in, and in case anyone needs to ring me, I can obviously answer the phone. So that aside, so I did all that, and 3 o'clock rolled around in the afternoon, I'm pretty amped. I'm like, yeah, sweet, right, I'm going to this gig tonight. So I give Tris a call and I say, like, what are we doing, what's the plan? So we go around to his place, start having a few drinks, and from there, we thought, all right, we're enjoying ourselves, let's take this show on the road. And for those that know my brother and I, it is a bit of a show when we drink together. We're probably a bit mouthy and a bit of silliness occurs. So we thought, all right, we're going to obviously amuse a few people this afternoon. So we started off doing a mini pub crawl, and we started at the Red Brick Hotel, which was an old stomping ground, at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Had a few drinks there, sat with the barflies and discussed the races, and then from there moved on to the old Clarence Corner, eventually the Pineapple Hotel, and then our kind of resting ground, which was the Jubilee. The gig that evening was on at the Tivoli, so we didn't think we'd drunk enough, so we stopped by a bottle shop and thought we'd probably pinch a few flasks. Well, not pinch, we did pay for them. But yeah, put them in our pocket and top up the drinks because drinking at the pub wasn't enough. So at this point, it's probably necessary for me to mention, I actually didn't drink alcohol until I was a couple of weeks shy of 18. And as a few mates will probably attest to, I suppose at that point I was a bit of a lightweight as well, so I was pretty pissed at this point. So we took the flasks in. We went into the gig, which was at the Tivoli, and we missed the support because we were having so much fun in each other's company. And to be honest, De La Soul sucked. They were really shit. And I really liked De La Soul. They're a great band, but the gig itself was fucking ordinary, to be honest. So I can't even tell you, to be honest, what, like, obviously it was a De La Soul's Dead album, but I really wouldn't be able to tell you any noteworthy entertainment or anything. We were there. We finished off 2 half flasks or half bottles sort of things of Bacardi, probably threw a bit of abuse at the crowd and then kind of walked out. So we left there, and at that stage a few other people had joined us, a few of his friends and mine, and we stumbled from the Tiv just up to Rick's. So for most of us who are aware, Rick's is obviously the venue just opposite here. And to obviously make a good night into a great one and not to know when to call it quits, we thought, all right, we're going to keep drinking. So we queued up. It was probably about 11:45 at this point, and Tris went in first, the bouncer let him in. And I went to walk in and stumbled in, and as most bouncers do, no, you've had too much to drink tonight, mate. And then you do the reasoning with the bouncer, like, oh, okay, like if I have some water or I do a lap of the block, like I'll be right to get in tonight. Like it's all good. And oh, what are you talking? I'm driving tonight, mate. I'm driving home. Yeah, I'm the designated driver. He's like, yeah, if you are, you're definitely. And I was like, oh no, that's all good. So anyway, Tris went to reasoning. I said, that's fine, mate. You just go in. And I thought, all right, it's a genius plan here. You go in, Tris, and for those that are familiar with Rick, there's a smoking area at the front. And I thought, oh sweet, alright, Tris, go get the drinks. Just sit at the front and I'll just step over the top. I sit down, he won't even know. He's got no idea. So he's standing there, Tris goes in, I wait 5 or 10 minutes and I thought, yep, sweet. So I stepped over the top, sat down, and I don't smoke or anything, so it probably looks stupid as well, but I was sitting there and I started to sip on the cider, and well, lo and behold, it was fair enough. The guy noticed me and said, what are you doing? I just told you can't get in. And a bit of back and forth, and then me giving me a bit of mouth and lip, he said, no, you get out. So okay, fair enough, I'll go. So, not to be branded a quitter, I thought, alright, I'm going to try again. Like, why not try and get in? Like, this has been a good night, apart from Telesol. Let's go from here. So, I gave it another 5 minutes, Tris sat there, and there was, as I said, there was a few other people, and I thought, okay, cool. So I did really the same thing, like, it's the hope that there'd be, like, that's the sign of a fool, to hope there's going to be a different result when you try something again. And anyway, so I did it again, and for probably about 10 or 15 minutes, I thought I'd gotten away with it. Like, you know, like most career criminals, they get a bit sloppy and they slip up eventually. So I'm sitting there and I thought, yeah, sweet. I mean, so I'd kind of finished the cider and I was confident enough to be able to go and walk up and sort of get a drink. So as I went to walk up, I just felt this thud behind me and the guys just grabbed me, just chicken winked me. And I was like, oh no. And all of a sudden I had six security guards on me, like dogs, just like a rib fillet, like just boom, just up against the wall, and they're just kind of yelling out my, like, they weren't yelling at my rights, obviously they're security guards, but kind of giving me that came later on. But yeah, they're kind of abusing me and saying, you're an idiot, you know, we're going to call the police, all the rest. So I'm up against just the right-hand side near the upstairs entry there, and Tris is kind of trying to argue with him and say, let him go, like, come on, this is bullshit, and all the rest. And as the police presence in the mall is so strong these days, like, it only took 30 seconds and all of a sudden I had a cop over there, I was in cuffs, and I remember the cop's name at the time, his name was Sergeant Bradley Cooper. So it kind of resonated with me. I'm thinking, like, because you can just hear it from behind, going, Sergeant Bradley Cooper, and I thought, this is bullshit, man. I was like, are you serious? And anyway, he's put me in cuffs, and then he's read me my Miranda rights, or something along those lines, he and his cronies. And there was probably about 4 cops again. So to think, like, you look at me, I'm not a very big guy, and all of a sudden I had 10 people on me, like I was going to start a huge brawl. And anyway, so he cuffed me, and he played it up, like, I suppose the only similarity he shared with the actor. And because he was about, like, the poor guy was about 4 foot tall. I remember at this point I probably asked him, like, something along the lines like, mate, can you actually get on the Terra Primo? Like, you're pretty short, mate, and that didn't help, so I got a few rib punches and a few knees to the back. And anyway, so he's grabbed me, and most Friday and Saturday nights, if you go out, you know there's always that paddy wagon at the end of the mall. Well, up until that point, I've actually not thought about it until I started to remember this story. That's where they put, like, anyone they'd arrested. So I was sitting in there, and they just parked the paddy wagon there. So they pulled me down and dragged me in the valley, and they put me in the paddy wagon, and there's two, as they open the doors, there's 2 bench seats, so you're cuffed. And they put you on either side, obviously. They wouldn't let me sit down for whatever reasons. I think I might have offended them. And so they put me in there, and there's another guy already in there. And we were waiting for about half an hour, and it was almost like, I thought of this, and it was pretty good, but it was almost like a hunters on a poaching expedition. Like, they had to get a full roundup of, like, different breeds or different games, like different sort of crimes, and all just put them in there and take away to the police station. So we're in there for half an hour, and all of a sudden it's just spilling out, and there's 5 or 6 of us in there. So we're ready to go, yep, sweet. So they drive us away, and I'm pretty naive, I've got no idea what's happening, so I'm obviously still pretty pissed as well. And so they drive us to what seemed like an eternity, Roma Street Magistrates Court. They drive you into it's almost like a bat cave. Like, I don't know whether they're trying to keep what happens their secret or something, but I just remember going under these tunnels, and all of a sudden I ended up in this. So they let you out one by one, and they put us in this holding cell. And the holding cell is, like, legitimately like you'd imagine it in a film, like, or a cartoon. It's just steel metal bars with 2 bench seats again, with timber, like, held by chain. That's just the cell you sit in before you actually go to get briefed and photographed and all the rest. So sitting there for 45 minutes, and I'm having a yarn with a couple of the other guys there. And anyway, so I'm just kind of hoping this is going to be a speedy process. From there, they took us up, and one of the policemen's, like, taking me, I'm still in cuffs, and they start to take all your stuff off you, your phone, your wallet, your belt, your shoes, pretty much everything, but you just got a pair of pants and a shirt on, like, you don't have anything else. And he takes me up, and I was still paying pretty stubborn, and I didn't really want to assist in obviously helping with the operation, so I'm not really helping, so he's kind of dragging me along by my feet, like I'm just not doing much. And he said, come on mate, like, I think he's probably swore at me once or twice and said, like, you hurry up. And I said, mate, I'll make a deal with you. If you put some chewing gum in your mouth, I'll help you, because your breath stinks. So again, a couple of rib punches later, photographer takes a photo, they help you out with the legal brief, and they go to put you in the cell. And in that time, I took the chance to talk to a lady who was on that night as well, and she was a bit older, and it was kind of like this mouthy feeling, so she put my mind at ease, because at this stage I'm really contemplating, like, you know, oh, does this mean I'm not going to be able to travel, or what does this mean for job opportunities, or, you know, I haven't set my fantasy roster for the next day either, so I'm like, fuck, the boys are really like, oh no, it's all falling apart. So anyway, they put me in the cell, and it's about 1 o'clock, and in the cell with us, there's a guy who's on the left. He's in his late 20s, and he's been done for drink driving. He seemed pretty cool about it, like it's happened before. And then 2 other guys, like a chummy, like they're actually talking when we walk in there. They're like going to add each other on Facebook, catch up for a coffee the next week. I'm like, do you guys know what's happening? Like, we're under arrest. Like, this isn't some sort of like social group where we meet and make friends. Like, so I'm sitting there and I come in and the last guy, there's 2 other guys, sorry. There's an older guy in the corner in his probably early 40s, a really bigger dude, and he's kind of like been there all before, like several times. It's his cell, pretty much. It's his space. He knows you're entering his domain. And so we walk in, and the other guy who I'd been arrested with previously, the only one, the other guys must have been put in a few other cells. Conrad's there as well. I remember his name this morning. And so we're there, and you start to share stories about why you've been arrested, what's your deal, and all the rest. And bit by bit, anyway, the night kind of eventuates and goes on, and you don't have any kind of semblance of time. From memory, there was no clock in there, and you just don't know what's happening. So, talking back and forth, and anyway, about 3 a.m, this young guy comes in, and it was his 18th birthday. He told us. He walked in, he's in hysterics, like he's freaking out. It's his 18th birthday. He's like half crying. He's like, "Fuck, what's gonna happen? Like, I'm not made for this." Like, he's smaller than me. Like, he's really thinking all these stereotypes about jailbait and everything's gonna happen in this cell. I thought, mate, it's okay. We're gonna be right. Look at us. We're not gonna do anything to you. And so he's really upset, like freaking out and going on about his birthday. And it took this distraction for the guy in the corner, the bigger, older guy. He thought, well, everyone else is not really paying attention to me at this point. I need to go to the toilet. So as you walk in, there's the 2 benches either side of this cell as well. In the left-hand corner, there's a toilet. It's just a stainless steel bowl with a basin. And he thought, yep, sweet, I need to go to the toilet. So, well, I go to the toilet, I mean, you need to have your shit. So there's 8 of us in there at this point, and I'm like, oh. So he goes to do it, and we're all thinking, we're like, are you serious, mate? There's 8 of us here. So he's fully naked, just takes his pants down, goes to the toilet. And we're just like, oh my God. So of all people, the young fella thinks it's his chance to say something. Like, he goes, what the fuck are you doing, mate? We're all in here together, and you're going to do a shit in the corner? This stinks. And well, you can imagine about this old guy who thinks it's his space. He gets up, doesn't wipe, doesn't even pull his pants up. And he just walks up and grabs the young fella, throws him against the wall, and says, this is fucking like, just goes off at him. So to add to what's going on, there's like a bit of entertainment, it's a circus in there. Like, I'm going, what is going on? So the cops come in and they separate the 2 and they split each other up and all the rest. And anyway, it goes back to being quiet just for a couple of moments, and then again, it must have been at that point, because the young guy reckons he got arrested at 3, it must have been about 4 o'clock. So the next couple of hours, bit by bit, people just again come in, and 1 or 2 leave at a time. And I took this opportunity just to lay on the seat, and it was really uncomfortable, just a stainless steel bench, and putting my head over my eyes. I was just sitting there and just pondering, like, fuck, like, what's going on? Like, I just want this to end. And then in and out of kind of like consciousness without ever being asleep, I just hear Birrell, Daniel Birrell. I'm just like, thank Christ. And with that, it was over. I walked out, $150 fine. I'll do it all over again for the story. So, thanks,